Hello, and welcome to our webinar. As you already know, the new interface has been officially released, so today we'll see everything you need to get started with TalentLMS in the new interface. Now, before we get into that, my name is Irini, and I'm a Senior Customer Enablement Consultant, and I will be hosting this session alongside with my good colleague, Nick.
Hello, folks. I'm Nick. I'm also part of the customer enablement team, and we are here together with Irini today to help you get started on Talent LMS and see how you can deliver successful training.
Perfect. So before we move on here, just a reminder, like always, this webinar is recorded and it will be sent to you all by email once it's over, so feel free to share it. And a live Q&A will be taking place during the session. So this webinar is your chance to ask any questions about Talent LMS. Our own Theo is in the background and will be answering most of your questions during your webinar, but some of them will also be answered live by us. So feel free to use the Q&A button in order to ask us your questions. You can find it at your meeting controls on your screen. And of course, you can post anonymous questions as well. Now, let's see what we'll cover today. So our agenda for the day is how to create AI-powered courses and share them with your users. Then we will move on how to configure and organize your account, and then how to measure your progress via reports, and of course, the live Q&A that will take place during the session. But before we jump into the platform and get started, what is Talent LMS? Well, the Talent LMS is an award cloud learning management system, therefore the LMS. Our clients use it to train their own staff, their own customers and partners, and all that in the same portal. It's intuitive, easy to learn, and fully customizable. And at the moment, we have 70,000 plus teams find training success with Talent LMS. So let's get started. And before we get into the part of how to configure courses, allow me to share with you what the learners will meet once they get into your platform. So I'm going to share my screen one more time. There it is. I guess that you can all see my screen right now. So this is the homepage of the Talent LMS, the new interface. And of course, you can customize it exactly how you want it. The process is exactly the same as we've done with the old interface. And when a user clicks the login button, then they can add their username here and of course, add their password as well. And when the user logs in on the dashboard, they can see widgets with the recent course activity, events that will happen today, events that are upcoming and the learner shouldn't miss. Of course, if you have enabled the gamification, the leaderboard will show you here where that user ranks and who you compete with. And of course, any achievements like points and the level. And there's also a pie chart with the status of the courses you already have and some quick statistics. Of course, here on the side, there are the buttons where the user can check their own courses, the in progress and the completed ones. They can also access your course catalog and search for courses they will be interested in and pick them up on their own. And of course, the calendar for upcoming live events. And when it comes into more features, the message button, I'm sorry, will be here on the top in case the learner needs to access, needs to contact with any of the instructors or admins, the discussions button to participate in a discussion, the forum that we have in Talent LMS. And of course, if the learner hovers on their name, they can see their profile details, badges, their own progress reports, and of course, they can also log out. So that's very quick, the learner's experience. And with that said, I think that it's time to give the mic to Nick because he has a lot of interesting things to share with us.
Sure thing. Thanks, Irini. And now I'm going to share my screen because I want to talk about creating courses with you. And now you should be able to see my screen as well. Now, we already know that in Talent LMS, you can create courses either as an admin or as an instructor. In the new interface, it's still the case. Right now, I'm logged in as an admin, so this is how we're going to create a course. Very easy from the widgets here. I can just click on Add Course, and I will be ready here to create my course. Now, this interface looks a bit different from what you were used to, but here's where I'm going to give my course a title. And basically, I'm going to call it Getting to Know Talent LMS. So this is my title here. Here you can actually add your thumbnail. And of course, you can have your description. You might be asking, where are the course settings? If you look here, you have the little gear icon. And you see this takes me to the course options, which is where you would find all of the old course settings. Now, I want to show you some that are quite useful. They existed in the previous interface, but even if you're looking at the new one, you might find them useful to have something that you want to apply. So some of them are here in availability, and specifically, we want to talk about time options. In short, if you have a course that has a predetermined start and completion date, here's how you can set it up. So for example, we can say that this course is going to start, let's say it's going to be just for the month of October. So we can pick October 1st as a starting date. You can also pick the time. So maybe it's going to start at 8 in the morning. And I can set an expiration date, which is going to be October 31st, the last date. And I also want to include my late night shift people here, so it will expire at 11:45. This practically means you can have your course ready, and you can even give it and enroll learners to the course, but this is going to start at this specific date and time, so the learners will see the course as locked in front of them, and when the start date and time comes, the course will unlock and they will have to complete it. When the end date and time comes, then the course is locked again. If you want, you can toggle here and you can keep access to the course for the users who completed it when they were supposed to, even after the expiration date. Keep in mind, you don't need to have both a start and an expiration date. If you only want one of the two, you can use only one of the two. In case you don't have a course that has a fixed start and finish, but you want a course with a relative date, then you can click on time limit here, and you can say that this course is going to be available, let's say, for 14 days. This counts individually from each user from the moment they are enrolled to the course until these 14 days pass. So everybody has the same time to complete the course, but the difference is on when they start and when they complete it. Another thing here I want to show you are the certificates. Irene will talk later about how you can create a certificate, but since we already have some in place, I can go and select the modern one. And I can tell my system, this is the one I want to award to my learners when they complete the course. I can click on preview, of course, if I want a preview, and your duration. In most cases, you want the duration to be forever. So you create the course, your learners complete it, they get the certificate, they have it forever. However, there is kind of a recent trend in the industry where we see courses that have to do with HR or cybersecurity or compliance, and the learners actually have to take these courses at set intervals. So maybe they have to repeat it every year. If that is the case, I can set the duration of the certificate to a year, so it will expire after a year, and I can tell my system, reassign course to the user. Let's say we're a bit proactive, 1 week before the certificate expires. This way, your learner will complete the course, let's say today. They take the course, they complete it, they get a certificate that is valid for a year. A week, 7 days before this year time period comes again, the system will automatically remove them from the course, enroll them again into the course, and they will have to retake it. So they will get recertified again. Very, very handy. And this also happens automatically. You don't have to be there and do this manually. So these were my course settings. Now, I do have my course here, and obviously I want to add some content to it. As you can see, I have the add button, and I can pick different types of content that I can add. Right now, I just want to show you the new option that we have in TalentLMS in the new interface, which is Talent Craft. Essentially, Talent Craft, with the help of the AI, you can create units within your course that are way more modern and also can be enriched with the help of AI. As you see, when you pick it, you're given 4 different options. I want to start with this one, import from document. If I click on this, the system waits for me to actually upload the document. Now I have already done that. So, I could just select this one, for example, and then I can determine how much I want the AI to process it. So the AI is going to look through the document that I gave it, and it's going to try to convert it into a more traditional unit for my course, instead of just having the document. The higher you go, of course, the more involvement the AI is going to have with this. So let's say I pick medium. I'm going to start. And as you see, this is something that happens real time. You see the AI is working here to create this for me. Now, the way TalentCraft works is that it's going to talk directly with OpenAI for all the parts that have to do with AI capabilities. And of course, it's already creating for me. Now, there are different degrees to which this can affect your files. Again, keep in mind, the lesser involvement you have, you'll have something that is more close to the actual content, but you will see that the more high you want the AI to actually go into here and get involved, then you're going to get a lot more advanced cases. Now, I don't want to sit and just wait for this to happen. So instead, I want to go in here, and I am going to show you something different. So I'll go back to the TalentCraft options, and I want to show you how you can generate with AI. Now, if I click here, you're going to be able to see that it is here, and it is actually waiting for me
Sorry for
to...
jumping in, Nick. I think that your screen is not shared anymore. Can you please double check?
I don't know, can somebody in the chat also confirm it, if you can see it or not? From my end, it shows that I am sharing just fine.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, no worries. So here are the options that I have in terms of creation. So what I want to do is click on Generate with AI. You see, the system waits for me to give it a prompt. So since this is about AI, let's ask the system to make a course about the benefits of AI in the workplace. Why not? There we go. I'll click on Start Creating. And once more, the system is going to go through and start creating the unit for me. Remember, this is not a full course. This is a unit within a course. As you see, this is going to create a lot of different units in here. And first off, I can see that it is done. How do I know it? The prompt is here for me ready. So let's see what we have created. The system is going, of course, to give me text, which you have full control over it. This is a normal text editor, which means you can, make something bold, or maybe you can change it. You have the little AI button as well. If you want to expand the sentences, make them smaller, longer, change the tone, you can do that as well. When you want to control the different parts of the unit, here on the left, you can click and pick the different types of one. Maybe you want this to be in 2 columns, or maybe you want to have a header. And each of these is very easy for you to move around with the little arrows. You can move them up and down. Also, the system is going to generate for you images when it thinks they are appropriate. So I have already an image generated here. Again, the same idea. I could go here and change if the image is centered, for example, or if it's full width, or whatever type of image I really want. I'll pick text on image just because I can put my title in here. And this part that I don't want, I can very simply delete. So essentially, you have full control on how you're going to do this. Now, I want you to remember that you don't necessarily have to use the images that the AI has created for you. You always do have the ability to select a different image, or maybe you want to upload your own. You can do that as well. But I want to show you more things the AI has created. Here he has created for me an accordion, which, if you don't like this look where it has a title, for example, you could expand on it. And it is for all of this. Remember, all of this, you can actually edit them. Maybe you don't want that. Maybe you just want tabs, for example. And again, the same idea. You can change whatever you want. You can add images. You can change the text. You can change the titles, or you can delete the whole thing if you don't want it. Also, it gave me a quote from Business Insider. And again, you see this is marked as quote. Maybe I wanted to have a different format. And it created a little flowchart for me. You see it here? So I have my flowchart. It has different steps. I can navigate. All of this is fully customizable, of course. And also have a little quiz. These are not like hard tests, for example, where you have to have a passing score or something like that. They're more like knowledge questions to see if your learners are sure about what you have already shown them. If you want to create one, besides those that the system will create, you can just pick the text that you want. And on the AI option, you can tell it to create a question and will make one for you. Of course, the question itself, you can change it. You can change the answers, delete if you don't want them, even provide feedback for people when they answer. And you see it created more questions. It even gave me images. But that's not all. You have the ability by using the toolbar at the bottom to add videos, which could be from either a video that you already have, or if you want to search something, for example, in a video hosting like YouTube, you can do that, or add audio files. Or something I like is either you can use this to add things you already want, or you can once more ask the AI to create something for you. And here I'm going to ask you to create for me flashcards. And you see, create flashcards about, it remembers my subject. So I'm going to click start creating. And basically it's going to create for me a set of flashcards. Flashcards are very modern, and it's an easy way for you to actually give the images and the idea that you want to people. Now you can have them as a grid. I personally like them in a big stack just because I think it looks more visually interesting. And as you see, it has an image on the front and a text on the back, so you can flip over and have the super modern look. Again, if you don't like the image, you can click select image, and you can pick either anything from the library already in TalentCraft, or go to your library and upload the file, an image file that you want, or use any images the system has created for you. Or if you want, you can make a query in any of the stock sites available and pick a stock image from there, and the system is going to display that. Super important as well, if you have everything set up and ready to go, you might want to have a preview. Click on the little eye icon, and you can see how the unit is going to look like, for example, in a computer, or if somebody is going to watch it in a tablet, portrait or landscape mode, you are good to go. So I'm ready with this. What I want to do is I'm ready. This has been already created. The only thing, probably 3 dots, rename it to something else besides TalentCraft unit. So I can call it AI in the workplace. And we're good to go. So this is how you can use TalentCraft. Additionally, you can use, for example, all the classic things, videos, presentations, whatever you were used to before. Let's just say we want to add a quick test. Can just click on that, and you see I can give it a name. Maybe I want to call it quiz. Can give it a description, and you see all the different types of questions you could add, exactly like you did before in the older version. Now, I don't want to make new questions right now because I'm sure we'll have more interesting things to show you. So instead, I'll pick existing question, and will show me a list of the questions I already have in place, and I can reuse this and that. And maybe I want to go to the second page. You can always click on the little eye to preview the question. So if this is what you want to share, just click on this and it's ready. So I have shared 3 questions. My quiz is actually ready. And now you might wonder, okay, but if this is ready, how do I have my options? There you go, 3 dots, test options. And I can set up the duration or the pass score for my quiz, mix the answers. All of the settings that were already in place are also here, just with a more modern look. I'm almost ready to finish with my course. One last step I want to take is to publish the course. If I click on publish, now my course is live. And actually, it's available here. I can click on the little users icon and basically add users to the course, and I am good to go. Now, if you're more interested in actually talent craft specifically, we had quite recently a webinar, and I think that it's a good time for Theo to maybe give the link for that webinar in the chat. So if you're interested, you can feel free to visit later, look at the webinar, and you will find a lot more detailed information about how to use AI to power your courses. Now, I think, Irini, do we maybe have a question from somebody about all of these?
Yes, there is a question. Actually, there are a lot of questions in regards to categories, and there is a question from Jonathan who says, when you were showing the course options, I saw a setting for categories. What is this?
Ah, very nice. So let me go back to the courses. That's a very, very nice question, actually. And I can just sort them on basically time, so I can find the one I had. And you see, here's the button to edit the course. My title is again here, the little gear icon, and you referred to the category. Now, this is a category of the course. You can create your own categories here, absolutely. And you can see these are the categories I have in place. Basically, better housekeeping. So when you want, if you create a course, you can put it under a specific category, which can be nested as well. If you check here, I can have, for example, new hires, transferable skills, and I have compliance under transferable skills. So you can pick exactly where you want to have your course be. Remember, a course can only be in one category. And this is a very, very fun way to categorize your courses to make it easy for your learners to find them through the course catalog, as well as your learners to be able to just go through and find what they want. But also for you, as you have your courses, you can sort them by category, and it's very easy to find what you want and update it. So better housekeeping overall. Do we want to talk about more things, Irene?
At the moment, no, and we will jump into the platform just to see how we can configure the setup of our portal, and then we will move on with more questions on our next Q&A break. So I'm going to share my screen really quick. And oops. And as you can see, I'm already logged in as an admin in the portal. The admins are responsible for every aspect of Talent LMS. So they are the people that will basically configure the portal, at least the basics. So starting off with the account and settings, if I click here, you can see several tabs that you can explore. For the moment, we will see what we need, what is the minimum setup that we need to do to have an operating and functional portal. So starting off with the portal, this is where we give our site a name, and we can also add a description. And if we go a little bit further down, this is where we can upload a logo. We can also change the theme of the platform and maybe create our own themes by adding the hex color of the colors that we are using to reflect our branding. And of course, we can also customize our own homepage by clicking this button here. Here on the bottom, you have different options. So you can add text and banners and text and media and create something really attractive. And of course, the preview button is here. And once you're done, all you have to do is just publish, which I have already done at the moment. And the custom homepage will replace the simple version of the homepage that you start with Talent LMS. Now, next up is the Users tab. This is where you will select the sign up method. Now, in Talent LMS, we can allow the users to click on the sign up button that will be on our homepage and filling their profile details on their own, and in fact create the accounts on their own. So this is the direct method. And for this sign up method, we have a menu to verify and validate those accounts. As you can see, we have a lot of options, but you can also go with the manual method, which means that the admins will be responsible for all the user creation into the system. And since we're talking about users and their details, in case you want to host additional information on those profiles, if you go all the way down and click the custom user fields, you can create those extra fields through here. So basically you click add field, give your field a name, select the input method, and of course you're given the option to set those fields as mandatory and visible on reports, and you will end up having a list like we have here, and you can add up to 100 custom user fields. Now, since we're talking about users, we need to specify what the users will do in our system. And this is something that we can do with the user types. By default, you start with 4 user types: the super admin, the admin type, the trainer type, and the learner. And of course, apart from the existing user types, which you can customize and adjust their permissions, you can also click this button here and create a brand new user type according to your needs. And the good news is that you have no restrictions. You can create as many user types as you wish. So all you have to do is just give a name, and basically, depending the level of authority that you will provide for that user type, you will check the permissions that this role will have, save, and you will end up having that user type added here in the list. Now, Nick mentioned when he was demonstrated of how to set up the courses about the certificates. Now, the admins are responsible for creating certificates, and this is something that they can achieve through here. So through the course tabs, all the way down to other section and to certificates, you can click here. We have some certificates that you can start with right away, but if you want to, you can click the Add Certificate button here and customize the certificate on your own by adjusting the template, using smart tags, and also changing the background, or even upload the background of your own with the company logo maybe. Now that is the basic setup that you need to do. But what if you want to separate your training audience in different training environments? If your subscription supports that, you can create branches. Branches are subdomains that live in our main domain, and they're very easy to set up and very straightforward as a process. And they have their own administration, their own branding, their own set of rules, users, and courses. So there is a dedicated button here, and if you click it, you will see the list of the branches you have created so far, and the Add Branch button will take you into the next page that will help you set up your branch. Just to save us some time, I will access an existing branch. So basically, this is the page that you will end up if you click Add a new branch, where you need to give your branch a name. And by the time you do so, the URL of the branch will be generated here. So this is the URL that the people will need to use in order to access the branch, a description of what this branch is about. Going further down, again, you can upload a different logo, a different favicon. You can select a different theme, and of course, customize the homepage of that branch. It's a different subdomain, so it may have its own homepage. And of course, once you click the Save button to create that branch, you will end up with these tabs here. So from here, you can start adding users from your main domain, or you can add courses and create a unique course catalog. Now, apart from the branches, though, another feature that will be really useful, especially if you have a set of courses that should be assigned to a group of people and you want to save time into these course assignments, the feature that I'm talking about is the groups, and you can find that in all plans. And when it comes to groups, you can create groups in the main portal. You can also create groups in the branches as well. Creating a group is very easy. So all you have to do is just click Add Group and give your group a name. So let's say that I'm creating a group about soft skills courses. So I'm just going to give this description, this name in my group. You can include a description with some guidelines. This description will be visible only to admins and instructors. And when you click Save, the next thing you need to do is add courses. So it's always a good idea to start with the courses first. So I'm just going to click Add Course, and randomly, I'm just adding courses. So let's pretend that these courses are related to soft skills. And when you're done, go to users and you can start adding users, simple like that. Once you're done, this button, the Mass Actions button, will help you enroll users in these courses en masse and save you time. And of course, you can definitely add more users or add more courses and use the Mass Actions button here to save time from the course assignments. Now, before we move on into the notifications and how we can add users in the system, is there any question, Nick, that you can find through our Q&A so we can answer really quick?
There's quite a bunch of questions. I think one that is relevant here, I have one from Natalie. Natalie is asking, can I have different groups within a branch from my account?
Yes, Natalie, you can do that. One thing that we need to highlight here is that users and courses can be members of multiple branches and multiple groups. But when it comes to groups, we cannot share the same group within different training environments. However, each training environment will have their own groups. So the main portal will have their own groups. The branches will have their own groups as well. So if I click, if I enter a branch really quick, that's another method for the admins to access a branch and act as a branch admin. You can see the dedicated button here to create groups. If, however, you would like to do that through your main domain, you can definitely do that. So if I go back into the list of groups and find the group that we created just now, let's say the soft skills, all you have to do is go to the info tab, and now you have the option to add this group into a branch. So if I select that, now at this point, this group belongs into the internal branch. It has moved from my main domain. What you need to note here is that the courses that will exist in this group should also exist in the internal branch, for this example, in order to have a successful course assignment. And I think that we can move on with the notifications and how we can add the users into the system before we get into the reporting stuff. So really quick, notifications. This is something that also it's good to set up at the beginning. The notifications are basically emails that the system can send can send to users when certain events are triggering those emails, and they're very useful to help us save time from communicating with users on certain events. When you start with Talent LMS, you already have some notifications to help you out and get started. So one of the most important notifications is this, the user creation, let's say by admin. So I'm going to use this as an example of how we can create a notification. So first of all, we need to select the event. And if you want to have a look on the events, if you click the add notification, you can see the list of all the events that can trigger those emails. So taking as an example on the user creation, the event that I'm going to select is on user create. And then I will set up the rules. So what I need to do is specify who the recipient would be. In this case, I want to notify my learners with their credentials upon registration. So there it is, the related user. But of course, there's also a drop-down menu with more options in case you want to set up notifications that will notify account owners or branch admins with a certain template. And then the message body will come up where what I'm going to do here is write my email template. The first line is always the subject line of that email. And then I can move on and add a greeting and of course the rest of the information that I want to share. In this case, I have added the username and the password. And of course, I have the smart tags, which I have included in my email template and will help me populate the unique user details every time this email will go through. Of course, there's a button for you to preview that email before you save it. And once you save it, there it is, the notification will start working, let's say, when the event here is being triggered. And now that we have set up our portal, we have set up the notifications, the branches, the groups, let's start adding people in the system. Well, traditionally, you can click the users button here and click the add user so you can start adding users one by one. But what if you want to save time? Well, go to account and settings and go to import export. Here you can find this sample Excel file, which you can open. And with this Excel file, you can import a list of users with their own details and create the accounts really quick in just a few seconds. Just to give you a preview of how this file looks like, it already comes with different tabs because apart from creating users, you can also manage other data in the system as well. But using the users as a reference, All you need to do is just filling the lines by providing the username, first name, last name, and the email of that user. Filling the lines, save the file, drop it here, and there you go. Your user accounts will be created, and whatever notification you have set up under that rule will go through, and then the users will come in, starting taking the training. Now, about the import functionality and how you can manage in general data in the system and what kind of information you can also import apart from the basic ones, our own Theo will be posting here on the chat a very interesting article from our knowledge base where you can find all this information. So we're getting closer into the final Q&A. So what I'm going to do for you, Nick, is go get some questions. So prepare yourself. In the meantime, can you please talk to us about the reporting?
Absolutely. So let me share my screen again. There we go. And now reporting is available in TalentLMS either to the instructor or to the learner or to the admin. The learner has reporting in regards to how they perform in the courses that they have been enrolled in. The instructor has access to reports about courses that they are assigned as instructors to. And of course, the admin has access to reports about pretty much everything. So let's see what we can have in terms of reporting in TalentLMS. You can find your reports here. If I click on this, you will see that I get a lot of different widgets available, which I can pick the one that I want pretty much. The central page is your training progress. Now, your training progress is your overall report on everything that happens in the platform. So if you want a really big and a really comprehensive report, you have your training progress, you can click on that just to download it. What other reports do we have besides the training progress? Well, it depends on what you want to track, really. I know that for a lot of organizations, a thing that they really want is an easy way to see kind of how far along their learners are in terms of their training. So they want to see, did their learners complete the courses that they were assigned to? Just a brief overview. This is when you're going to use the training matrix. I do have the training matrix here. You see, I just selected it. And as you see, it kind of looks like an Excel. It has rows and columns. So I have rows and columns, and I have different colors here, as when I have a combination of a row and a column, and this tells me something. Now, if I have this faded color, it basically tells me, you see on the mouse over as well, that this user is not enrolled to this course. So the user does not have anything to do with this specific course. If the user is enrolled to the course, then they will have the gray icon you see here, which means the learner is enrolled to the course, but they haven't touched it yet. They haven't started. Now, once my learners actually start working on the courses, they will have the little orange one, which is a circle that starts empty. And the more they progress, the more the circle is going to fill in. When they complete the course, there is the green one with a check mark to show me that the course is completed. And if a learner fails a course, they will get a red one with a white X inside. Now, this is something that you can filter. So maybe I want just to filter by active users and courses, or maybe I want to filter by a specific branch. So if I go in here and I select my Spanish branch, for example, I can see how my people are doing. You can also filter here by groups if you want, besides branches. And I know a lot of people like this, but maybe they want to see more data in terms of numbers. You can click here on View, and you have the ability to check course score and course progress. And now you're going to see I keep the numbers still, the nice colored bubbles, but Abby, for example, here, now I know she's 10% done with the course, whereas Alex is done 88%. So if this is what you prefer, by all means, you can see that. Remember that you have the ability to click export in Excel, and you can just download this file to have it available in an Excel format if you want. Now, very commonly, there's a lot of fixed reports that you expect to see in an LMS, and there will be no exception with TalentLMS. So if you want specific reports about how a user is performing, how people are doing within a course. You want reports on your branch, on your group, or maybe learning activities. So for example, a test or an assignment. You can pick any of these. And of course, if I move to a course report, for example, and I want to see more about here, I would go to the specific of this course report. I could even see the learning activities for the course. So basically you have all the information. If you want to get to them faster, reports, and you can see straight away, these are here available as well. However, I want to show you a feature that is available on our subscription tier Grow Higher, where we have our custom reports. The custom reports are very powerful because they allow you to create a set of different rules that you want to give us tangible results that we want to see. So I have already some reports in place here. I could click Add Report to make a new one, or honestly, I can just edit one I've already made. It needs a name, and then you get to determine if it's going to be about users or learning progress. In my case, I picked users. And as you see, you have a lot of different rules that you are going to add to the specific report. Now, each of these rules that you will add basically works as an end condition. So for example, if I just delete all of these, the first one, I'm seeing people that belong to a branch. Which branch? This and this and this. Now, if you have more than one argument in one rule, then all of these are OR statements. So they are alternatives. So it's going to show me people who are in my Spanish branch, people who are in the external branch, people who are in the internal branch, and any combination of these. But what if I want people who are exclusively in the Spanish as well as the internal branch? If I want an end statement, then I have to click on Add Rule and repeat the same rule, belong to branch, and now I want to type, for example, internal. So now this is going to show me only the people that are in both of my branches here. Of course, you can add more rules if you want. It's a maximum of 5. And in the output, you can select exactly what information you want your system to show you in regards to the people that will meet your criteria, so the people it's going to find out. Now, this report is already in place. I can just click Run Report, and this happens as real to live as possible, of course, and I see all the people that it found. And actually, if I look to the right, there is more information that I picked. The strength of custom reports is not only in the fact that you can find whatever specific users you want that meet the criteria that work for you, but also on the ability to take mass actions, which essentially means this report found for me all of these people. You see 2 pages of people. Well, I can click on mass actions and I can take directly actions only on the people that show up on the report, so only on the people that meet my criteria. What can I do with these people? I can send them a message, activate, deactivate, or delete their accounts, add and remove them to a branch, add and remove them from a group, register them to a new course, remove them from a course, or reset them in a course. So this way you can very fast create a lot of different reports, maybe that reflect to what you want, and you can take actions straight away to the people that meet this criteria. Of course, you have the ability to export this in Excel. So you can click that and just download an Excel copy of the report here. But what if this is a report I want to share with some managers that I have in my training portal or some people in my accounting team? Very easily, drop down arrow here, and I can click Schedule. And by clicking Schedule, I can set up the frequency. So I can say maybe this is something that is going to happen every month, for example. So I select months and the number 1. And then you get to set the date as well for the month. So maybe I want it every month on the 15th. If I click Schedule, it's going to arrive to my inbox on the 15th of every month. If I want to share this with somebody else, add custom recipients. Here I can actually add the emails of the people that I want to receive it. If I want to be one of these people, I have to add my email here as well. And all of the people are going to receive this report based on the scheduling frequency you did set up. Keep in mind that all the people who are in here, the custom recipients, they're going to be BCC'd with each other. So essentially, they don't see the other people that receive the report. And also, they don't need to have an account in Talent LMS. Very common with, for example, financial or accounting departments. If that is the case, they don't need an account in Talent LMS. Just put their corporate email here, click schedule, and they will receive the email whenever it is supposed to go out. So this was a very brief review in regards to reporting, but we have a very detailed webinar that we were having with reports. And this was actually one of our mastery webinars, which was talking in reports in a very advanced way. It was a two-part webinar. So Theo can actually post that in the chat for you. So if you feel like you want a deeper dive into reporting with how they work, either for the learner, the instructor, or for the admin, this two-part series webinar is there to just help you do a deeper dive and get more out of your reporting. I think, Irene, we can go into some questions, right?
Yes, definitely. So do you want me to start? Okay, let's
Yes,
start
why not?
by, okay, I'm gonna start with the very first question, which is from Fortunata Rea. Hello. On notifications, can we set up notifications only for users within a specific branch or group?
Absolutely. So let me share my screen. I was about to type the answer actually, but let me share my screen and show you live. There we go. So this is my platform again. Now, the way this works is the notification is tied to the event that you pick when you're creating this notification. For example, if I click here on that notification, obviously you have to give it a name. And I say this notification is, for example, I'm going to type group here. So on group assignment means when I add somebody to a group. So if I want this notification to go off, what is my condition about? It's about assigning somebody to the group. What is my filter going to be? It's going to be groups. So I can pick this and say this will apply only when I add somebody to a specific group. In the same vein, in the same train of thought, if I had a notification about a user, for example, failing a course, so I could type here fail, or course failure is my condition, and in this case, my event has to do with courses, so I'm going to filter by courses, of course, and I can say it's going to apply to this course and this one, for example. So you know exactly where it's going to apply. Remember that your filter is always based on the condition. If your condition is a group, the filter will be a group. If your condition is a course, then the filter is going to be a course. I also saw a question from somebody that they didn't leave their name, and I really wanted to address this. So you're asking that about a course that was created in the legacy interface, and you want to open this as an instructor in the new interface, and it asks you indeed to convert the unit. You are absolutely right. So if I would be here and go into my courses, for example, I don't know if I have something that was created of the older one, but maybe I do here. And you will see that I have different units, and maybe I want, for example, to see this. If this was created in the past, then indeed it would have a button here that would ask me to actually convert it to the new one. How will this affect the legacy version? The specific part of the course or the whole course would just work as fine in the newest version. So you won't have any backwards compatibility issues, let's say. But now, if you want to edit what you have converted, you would need to go into the new interface in order to edit it from there. Whereas before you could edit it in the old one, now if you convert it to the new one, you would have to go into the new one and convert it from there. So I hope this actually makes sense. And I hope this answered your question. Irene,
Is
do you
there
have any question for you,
there are a
maybe?
couple of questions that I would like to pick up before I pass the mic one more time to you. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a question from Coin. She has 20 plus courses assigned to her account, which she can see when logging in as a learner in the legacy interface. But when she's actually logging in the new UI, she cannot see those courses as a learner. So let me share my screen really quick in case that I need to screen share something. The reason why this is happening is because you are the instructor of the course. So as an instructor of the course, if I change the roles here, you can see all the courses that you can edit. So you can see the recent course activity when it comes into course editing. But since you are the instructor of that course, when you switch as a learner here, it's the expected behavior not to find these courses because as an instructor, you cannot complete those courses as a learner. You cannot have your progress on the actual progress reports. Now, if for some reason you want to preview those courses from the learner's perspective, when you click on a course, so let's go and edit this course. Once you publish it, you have this preview button that will do exactly this, that will show you how the course looks like from the learner's perspective. If, however, you would like to have these courses on your learner's dashboard because you need to complete them as a learner and have the progress on the respective reports, you will need to go here and find your account. This is me. And from here, you can change the role that you have within that course. And once you do that, if I go back, so this is the avoiding distractions. If I go back as a learner, you can see the course showing up here because right now I will be acting as a learner for that course. Hope that that helped. And another question that is really interested, are TalentCraft units created in the beta interface visible to learners who are using the legacy interface? Yes, they are. The only thing that you cannot do with the TalentCraft units in the legacy interface is to create new or edit the existing ones. However, the learner can definitely preview, can definitely see any TalentCraft units you have created and interact with them like they would normally do in the new interface. So this is not affected at all. Last, before I pass the mic to Nick, because I can see that he's picking up a lot of interesting questions. If we are currently on the legacy platform, what do we need to do to move on to the latest version of the Talent LMS platform? This is a very interesting question. So let me just change as an admin and go back into the legacy interface. You need to go here, new interface, and activate the new interface for your portal. Once you do so, all you have to do is just hover on your name and click this button that will say, try this new interface. And that's it. And you can then go back and forth and switch in different interfaces according to your wish. Now, Nick, the floor is yours. I can see that you have already picked up some questions. I'm going to stop sharing.
Sure thing. So let me once more share my screen. Now, I picked up some questions and I really wanted to actually answer some of these. So I see a question from Karen, and you're saying historically I have uploaded SCORM files for my courses and therefore you can track every time the content has changed. Absolutely true. If now I use AI to create and publish the course, what's the best way to track changes? Well, Karen, I want you to remember that the AI, so essentially TalentCraft, is not the course itself. Essentially, TalentCraft is a part of a course. Exactly as you would have your course before, where you would add, for example, a scope file. Same idea here. You see, this is the one I just created. It is a part of a course, a unit of the course. So what I believe is the best thing, if you're using the SCORM files and you want to use them as a black box system where you're going to track all the changes you have created, keep doing that. If you feel you want to add more content and modernize your course or maybe leverage the AI, then add a TalentCraft unit to it. So you can use whichever combination of the two you want, but if SCORM files is already something that works successfully for you, I don't see why you should stop going for it, especially if this is crucial for your reporting. I also have a question here from Gordon that I think is very, very nice. How would you manage users who are creating their own accounts? If we want to avoid users that use, for example, let's say Gmail, something that is not from the company. So Gordon, the way to do it, you can do this in two different ways. It depends on how you want to set it up. It all comes down to your account and settings, and we're looking at security. If I scroll a bit down, restrict registration to specific domains. So again, account and settings, security, scroll down, restrict registration to specific domains. If I enable this, I can either type an email here, and if I type it, so maybe I will go in here and type TalentLMS, for example, .com. Okay, and what this will do is that will allow only people that have an email which has whatever prefix at talentlms.com, which is what I wrote, to sign up. And you can use a comma and just add more. Or if you want to exclude something, you can go in here again and use the minus. So this will allow everybody except the people that have an email account that ends at whatever before it, right? The prefix at talentlms.com. And it would be like that. So you can do it either by basically whitelisting specific email addresses that you want, or blacklisting with a minus specific addresses you do not want. This can be done either on the main site, or if you plan on using branches, you can go to my external, for example, here, edit branch. And if I scroll down, you're going to see again that you have the same option here, restrict registration to specific domains. So if this is a branch specific thing, you can pick the branch where this is going to happen, and you can set it up from there. I don't know, Irene, if we have time for one more question. You
Yes,
can tell me.
definitely we have. So if you have found another one, just answer it.
Okay. Okay. So basically, I saw a different question here that it's from anonymous attendee, really, but I actually really like the question. So how would you go about looking up all the courses in one category as an instructor in an admin? This is not something that is currently the plans, but I think I saw a couple of different people actually asking the same question. And obviously, you could go into your courses, right? And you could sort them via category. But if you actually filter, you're going to see that you can filter based on the branch or the group. So if you wanted to filter by category, this is not something that is on the plans right now. However, I would appreciate it if you could send us this suggestion in an email. Just because it's very easy, we're going to take this, forward it to the product team, and of course, they're going to have their own assessment, see if this is a feature that is there by popular demand, and they can see if and when they can implement it. But I always think it's a good idea. You can send us an email with your suggestions so we can actually forward them to the developer team that is working with improving the product. So don't be shy. I'm pretty sure Theo has already shared our email, but you're going to have it anyway again at the end. And you can send us any recommendations you have or anything that you might like to see in future versions of TalentLMS, so we can actually communicate with the relevant teams and bring it to their attention. Yes, I see, Ellen, already you're mentioning actually the same thing, which I completely understand. Filter by category. Again, please send us an email with this. The more suggestions we have, because this is where your feedback really matters, right? So send us your feedback so we can get the TalentLMS experience even improved based on features you actually want.
Thank you for that. So I think that that's a wrap, Nick. So thank you all for joining today. And I'm sure that there will be more questions on the features we discussed today. And as Nick said, it's really important to send us your thoughts, your concerns, any inquiries you may have, so you can get in contact with us to success@talentlms.com. And of course, again, as Nick said, your comments and your feedback truly matters, and we do appreciate your thoughts. So feel free to do so by following the link that Theo will post in the chat. And As we said, thank you all for joining today. Thank you for all the engagement and all the questions that you have been sending. Theo's fingers are on fire. So thank you, Theo, for helping us out. And thank you, Nick, for co-hosting this session with me.
Thanks, Irene. Thanks, Theodore, for helping out. Thank all of you that came here, and we hope we help you out.
And as we always said, until next time, happy training.